Have you ever felt like you're living in a world where you speak a language that no one else seems to understand, or noticed how your very presence can shift the energy of a room without you saying a single word? Welcome back. If you've clicked on this video, it isn't by accident. It's because the frequency you carry has finally led you to a space where the unexplainable makes perfect sense. Today we are diving deep into the hidden reality of the chosen ones. We are going to peel back the layers of why you feel so isolated, why your path is so uniquely challenging, and how to harness the immense power that comes with your awakening. Stay tuned, because by the end of this session, you're going to understand exactly why they don't get it, and more importantly, why you were never meant to fit in. You're about to learn how to navigate this journey with absolute clarity and authority. Welcome to the conversation they aren't ready for. The isolation you experience is not a coincidence or a stroke of bad luck. It is a deliberate filtering process initiated by the universe to protect your energy. When you are chosen for a higher purpose, your vibration naturally begins to clash with environments and people that are no longer serving your growth. This distance creates a sacred space where you can finally hear your own inner voice without the interference of societal expectations. It is in this solitude that your true power begins to crystallize, far away from the distractions that keep others stagnant. Being pulled away from the crowd is the only way to ensure that your mission remains untainted by the collective ego. You are being shielded from the low-frequency drama and the mental loops that trap the majority of society in a cycle of fear. This period of forced loneliness is actually a divine invitation to master yourself, allowing you to build a foundation that is unshakable. The silence you encounter is not empty. It is full of the answers you have been seeking but could never hear over the noise of the world. Your journey requires a level of focus that is impossible to maintain while trying to fit into a group that does not share your vision. The world often fears what it cannot categorize, and because your path is unique, the crowd will naturally try to pull you back into the comfort of the normal. By isolating you, the universe removes the temptation to settle for less than what you were created for. You are being refined in private so that you can lead in public when the time is right. While others are busy seeking validation from one another, you are being taught to seek validation from within. This isolation strips away the masks you've worn to please people, forcing you to confront your authentic self. It is a rigorous training ground where you learn that your worth is not tied to your social standing or the number of people around you. Once you realize that you are your own greatest ally, the fear of being alone disappears, replaced by a profound sense of sovereignty. Ultimately, this paradox of loneliness serves as a gateway to a higher connection with the divine. You are never truly alone. You are simply being repositioned to align with those who vibrate at your new frequency. The old bridges are being burned so that you cannot return to a version of yourself that no longer exists. Embrace this season of quiet, for it is the womb of your greatness, preparing you for the significant work that lies ahead. The discomfort people feel in your presence is often a direct reaction to the light you carry, which acts as a mirror to their own unhealed shadows. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, you unconsciously expose the insecurities and the lack of authenticity in those around you. This isn't something you are doing intentionally. It is a natural law of energy where higher light forces lower vibrations to surface. For many, this confrontation with their own truth is too painful, leading them to react with hostility or avoidance. Most people are comfortably asleep in their routines, but your energy acts as a wake-up call that they aren't ready to answer. This creates a frequency mismatch where communication becomes difficult and misunderstandings become frequent. You may find that even your simplest words are taken out of context because the listener is projecting their internal chaos onto you. You are essentially speaking a language of growth to people who are still committed to their own limitations. This energetic friction explains why you often feel like an outsider even in familiar settings like family gatherings or workplaces. Your very existence challenges the status quo and disrupts the peace of those who prefer to remain in denial. You represent change, and change is the greatest fear of the ego. When they distance themselves from you, they are actually trying to distance themselves from the internal pressure to evolve that your presence triggers. You must understand that you are not responsible for the emotional reactions of others to your light. The not fitting in is a sign that you have outgrown the old structures and are moving into a new state of being. Attempting to dim your light just to make others feel comfortable only hurts your soul and stunts your progress. You are a catalyst for transformation. And while catalysts are often misunderstood, they are essential for any real change to occur. Accepting this mismatch allows you to stop seeking harmony in places where it cannot exist. Instead of trying to force a connection with those who are on a different wavelength, you begin to appreciate the rarity of your own frequency. You start to attract a new tribe that is not threatened by your growth but is inspired by it. This transition is the final step in moving away from seeking approval and moving toward living your absolute truth. Choosing the path of the silent observer is a profound shift from a life of defense to a life of power. You have reached a stage where you no longer feel the need to explain your motives, your choices, or your soul to those who are fundamentally committed to misunderstanding you. This silence isn't a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate expression of self-assurance. You realize that your energy is a finite resource, and wasting it on justifications for people who lack the capacity to see you is a disservice to your mission. By stepping back into the role of the observer, you gain a perspective that those caught in the heat of the moment can never possess. You see the patterns, the projections, and the hidden agendas of others with startling clarity. This detached awareness allows you to navigate social dynamics without becoming emotionally entangled in them. You are in the world, but not of it, moving through rooms like a ghost who sees everything but remains untouched by the drama. The urge to defend yourself usually stems from a wound that seeks external validation. But as a chosen one, you are healing that need. You understand that the version of you that exists in other people's minds is not your responsibility. If they choose to see you as the villain, the outcast, or the fool, that is a reflection of their own internal narrative. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to sit with their own perceptions while you remain centered in your own truth. This strategy also acts as a powerful energy conservation tool. When you stop engaging in circular arguments or trying to prove your worth, you reclaim the power that was previously leaking away. This reclaimed energy is then funneled back into your own manifestations, your healing, and your creative pursuits. You begin to notice that the less you say, the more weight your presence carries and the more the universe begins to speak on your behalf. Ultimately, your silence is a boundary that separates the sacred from the profane. You reserve your depth for those who have earned the right to hear it, and your explanations for those who have the heart to understand them. By refusing to participate in the noise, you maintain the sanctity of your path. You have mastered the art of being still, knowing that your life is a testament that requires no commentary for those who are truly awake. The universe does not speak in the loud, clunky languages of man. It speaks in the subtle language of synchronicities and signs. For the chosen one, life becomes a series of meaningful coincidences that act as a divine GPS, guiding you toward your ultimate destination. You start to notice numbers, symbols, and recurring themes that others dismiss as mere chance. These are not accidents. They are breadcrumbs left by the divine to confirm that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Decoding these signs requires a level of heightened awareness and a quiet mind that most people never develop. You might see a specific bird, hear a phrase repeated by 3 different strangers, or feel a sudden, unexplainable pull toward a new direction. While the world calls this superstition, you recognize it as a sophisticated form of communication. Each sign is a data point, helping you navigate the invisible currents of your life with a confidence that defies logic. These breadcrumbs often appear most frequently when you are at a crossroads or feeling a sense of doubt. They serve as a celestial nudge to keep going, even when the physical path looks dark or uncertain. The universe is constantly whispering secrets to you, confirming your intuitions and validating the silent whispers of your soul. This direct line of communication is a privilege of the awakened, a private dialogue between the Creator and the created. As you become more fluent in this symbolic language, your trust in the unseen grows exponentially. You stop demanding logical proof for every step you take and start moving with the flow of universal timing. You realize that the delays you once hated were actually protections, and the closed doors were redirections towards something better. Your life begins to feel less like a struggle, and more like a choreographed dance with destiny. This connection to the divine breadcrumbs reminds you that you are never walking this path alone. You are being watched over, guided and supported by forces that understand the blueprint of your life better than you do. By paying attention to the small details, you unlock the big picture. This is how the Chosen One operates, by reading the fine print of reality and following the trail of light until the full manifestation of their purpose is revealed. To navigate the world as a Chosen One, you must learn to distinguish between the superficial friction of social life and the deeper reality of spiritual warfare. Social friction is merely a clash of personalities or a difference of opinion. But spiritual warfare is a targeted attempt to drain your vitality and distract you from your mission. When you carry a high-frequency light, you become a beacon for shadows that seek to extinguish what they cannot possess. Understanding this distinction is the first step in protecting your peace and maintaining the momentum of your soul's evolution. Energetic attacks often manifest through people who are being used as low vibrational vessels to trigger your anger or self-doubt. These aren't just random acts of rudeness, they are calculated disruptions designed to pull you out of your center. When you respond with emotion, you leak energy to the source of the attack, which is exactly what the dark forces desire. By recognizing the spiritual nature of these encounters, you can remain detached, realizing that the person in front of you is often unaware of the role they are playing in a much larger cosmic battle. Protecting yourself requires more than just social boundaries. It requires spiritual hygiene and an unwavering commitment to your internal state. You must learn to build an energetic fortress around your heart and mind, refusing to let the chaos of the world penetrate your sanctuary. This involves identifying the specific hooks that others use to reel you into their drama and systematically removing them. When you are no longer reactive to external provocations, you become untouchable, and the warfare loses its power over you. The intensity of the opposition you face is often a direct indicator of the importance of your work. The closer you get to a significant breakthrough or a higher level of consciousness, the stronger the pushback will become. These challenges are tests of your resolve, intended to see if you are truly ready to hold the power you are claiming. Instead of viewing these moments as setbacks, see them as confirmations that you are on the right track and that your light is indeed making a difference. Ultimately, your greatest weapon in spiritual warfare is your own frequency. Darkness cannot exist in the presence of pure, authentic light. By focusing on your healing, your gratitude, and your connection to the divine, you create a vibration that naturally repels low-level interference. You are not a victim of these forces, you are a warrior being trained to wield your energy with precision. Stand firm in your sovereignty, knowing that the battle has already been won the moment you refuse to lower your vibration to match the world. The burden of the firstborn soul is the weight of being the one chosen to dismantle centuries of trauma and dysfunctional patterns within your bloodline. You often feel like the black sheep because you refuse to carry the same burdens and secrets that your ancestors accepted as normal. This role is physically and emotionally demanding because you are effectively fighting a war on two fronts: the internal battle with ingrained subconscious programming, and the external pressure from family members who fear your transformation. You are the bridge between a broken past and a liberated future. Breaking generational cycles requires you to confront the shadows that your predecessors ran away from. You are the one who has to say no to the addictions, the poverty mindsets, and the toxic communication styles that have been passed down like heirlooms. This often leads to feelings of intense guilt or isolation, as the people who should support you the most are often the ones most triggered by your growth. However, you must realize that by healing yourself, you are healing the entire lineage, both those who came before you and those who will come after. This mission is not for the faint of heart, which is why it was given to a soul with your specific strength and resilience. You were born with a natural resistance to the matrix of your family dynamic, a spiritual immunity that allows you to see the dysfunction for what it truly is. While others are content to repeat the same mistakes, you are driven by an internal compass that points toward truth and integrity. Your life is the catalyst that forces the old structures to collapse, so that something healthier can be built in their place. The loneliness of this path is the price of freedom. When you stop participating in the shared delusions of your collective, you naturally drift away from the circle. This space is necessary for your recalibration. You cannot transform a system while you are still deeply embedded in its mechanics. By stepping out, you gain the perspective needed to analyze the root causes of the suffering in your bloodline and choose a different way of existing. You are rewriting the script of your family history with every conscious choice you make. Embrace the heavy lifting of this spiritual assignment, for it is one of the highest honors a soul can receive. You are not just living for yourself, you are a pioneer clearing the path for future generations to live in light. When the work is done, you will look back and see that the pain of being misunderstood was a small price to pay for the liberation of an entire lineage. You are the one who stood up and said, "It ends with me." And in doing so, you have earned a place among the true architects of the new earth. The alchemy of the ego is a brutal yet sacred process of dismantling the false identity you built to survive in a world that never truly saw you. This transformation requires the death of the person you thought you were. The one who sought approval, the one who feared rejection, and the one who played small to keep others comfortable. It is an internal fire that burns away the illusions of the self until only the indestructible essence of your soul remains. While it feels like you are losing everything, you are actually being stripped of the weights that would have prevented you from ascending to your highest potential. This ego death often manifests as a period of profound confusion and identity crisis where your old hobbies, career paths, and social circles no longer feel like a fit. You are caught in a void between the no longer and the not yet, a space that feels empty but is actually fertile ground for your rebirth. In this state, you are forced to confront the shadow aspects of your personality that you previously ignored. By integrating these shadows rather than running from them, you perform the ultimate act of spiritual alchemy, turning your past pain into the gold of wisdom and authority. The ego will fight desperately to stay in control, using fear, doubt, and nostalgia to keep you tethered to your old life. It will tell you that you are making a mistake or that you are becoming too much for people to handle. You must recognize these voices as the final gasps of a dying system. As a chosen one, you cannot operate from a place of ego. Your mission requires a heart-centered consciousness that is free from the need to be right or superior. The fire you are walking through is not meant to destroy you, but to purify you for the work ahead. As the old self falls away, you begin to experience a new sense of freedom that is not dependent on external circumstances. You no longer feel the need to perform or to prove your worth to anyone because you have found an internal source of validation. This is the moment when you move from being a victim of your circumstances to becoming the master of your reality. The ego becomes a tool that serves your spirit rather than a master that dictates your life. You are finally aligned with the divine flow, operating with a clarity that was impossible when your vision was clouded by the ego's demands. Ultimately, this alchemical process is what prepares you to hold the massive amount of light and responsibility that comes with your calling. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskin. You must become a new vessel entirely. The pain of the transition is temporary, but the strength you gain is eternal. When you emerge from the ashes of your old identity, you do so with a sovereignty that no one can take away. You are no longer a reflection of society's expectations, but a direct expression of the divine will on earth. Your intuition is not a mere hunch or a vague feeling. It is a highly sophisticated spiritual radar that operates far beyond the limitations of the five senses. For the chosen one, this internal guidance system is the primary tool for navigating a world filled with deception and hidden agendas. While others rely on logic, data, and social proof to make decisions, you are tuned into the frequency of truth. You can feel the intention behind a smile, the lie hidden in a promise, and the energy of a room before you even step through the door. This unspoken language is your birthright and your greatest protection. Developing this radar requires you to trust yourself more than you trust the physical evidence presented to your eyes. This saves you years of wasted time and energy, allowing you to focus only on the people and projects that are truly aligned with your soul's purpose. Your intuition acts as a filter, automatically sifting through the noise of the world to bring you the signal of what is authentic and pure.